7 reasons you shouldn't live abroad, why I do anyways, and a deadly storm.
The death toll in the Philippines has soared to 68 after a storm battered the country over the weekend. Tropical storm Usman hit the Bicol and eastern Visayas regions on December 29th, leaving 19 people missing.
In this episode, we discuss long-term travel and living abroad and how it really isn't for everybody. We will talk about some of those highs and lows of living in a developing country. I'll share some of my personal stories, and hopefully I'll survive the biggest cyclone to hit Thailand in over 65 years. Wish me luck. Hi, I'm Joel, and at 6 to 12, I hope to inspire you to travel more, work anywhere, and enjoy life. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing after the episode. What I do on the channel is upload weekly videos with travel tips, business advice, and interviews. And make sure you stay till the end, because as always, I've got the funniest bloopers at the end of the episode. Today there's no bonuses, but hey, the bloopers will be worth it. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different than usual because I'm going to be talking about some negatives and some reasons why long-term travel and living abroad really isn't for everybody. But before we get started, I want to share with you guys what's happening right now in Thailand. The biggest cyclone in over 65 years, tropical cyclone Pabuk. Am I saying that right? Yep. Pabuk is about to hit. It actually literally just started raining, the first drops. It's going to last about 3 days. Hopefully nothing crazy happens. I think a coconut just hit a roof. I'm gonna walk around like this during the storm because coconuts kill people. It devastated the Philippines. They had over 25,000 people displaced by mudslides. The winds were up to 40 miles an hour. They had over 19 inches of rain and unfortunately over 75 deaths. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens over the next few days, but I'll be recording that and sharing that with you as we talk about long-term travel, living abroad, and how it's unfortunately not really for everybody. Let's get into it. If you're not familiar with my story, I've been living in Southeast Asia for about 2.5 years and met all kinds of cool people. A lot of people that started out and fell in love with traveling full-time or living abroad. And unfortunately, I've met some people that have found out it's really not for them and they've decided to go back home. Now, let's talk about some of the obvious reasons why people want to live in developing countries. Number one is you can really stretch the dollar, and if you either have some savings, retirement, investment money coming in, or online work like myself, it's very easy to regain a lot of time and live a pretty comfortable life without that much money. Let's talk about some of those downsides. One of the most obvious ones is gonna be friends and family. If you're somebody who gets homesick, it's gonna be really difficult for you to live away from them long term. The cool thing is with technology nowadays, social media, Skype, and other video platforms, makes it a lot more easy to stay in touch with those people. Unfortunately, if you live on the other side of the world, that time difference is going to be a barrier because while you're sleeping, they're awake and vice versa. So there's a limited window of when you can talk to them. A couple tips to help you with this. One is bring pictures and bring some small things that remind you of home to put up in your room so that anywhere you are feels like home. And another thing is get out there and make some new friends. Another thing that's difficult is culture shock and getting used to different cultures and different traditions. The biggest advice I have to help you with that is research, research, research. Research before you get to the country to find out if there's anything that you don't feel comfortable with. For example, I like to drink water, and unfortunately on the metro in Singapore, it's illegal to drink water. Another thing that affects a lot of people is language barrier. If you don't know the language, A, it's gonna be harder to make friends, and then B, it's just gonna be harder to get around, find places, find what you want. The biggest tool I've found to help me with that is a translating app called Udao. By the way, anything I talk about or any resources I ever talk about, I link in the description, so just check it out. Now, with this translating app, I just talk to it in English and it spits out whatever language I want it to. It works really good and it definitely helps that situation. Transportation can also be very difficult and frustrating when you can't read any of the signs. Another thing that really helps is buying a SIM card so that you have data anywhere you are so you can have Google Maps. Data in developing countries is really, really cheap, and in my opinion, just the maps alone is worth getting it. In Western society, we have a lot of comforts, from air conditioning to toilets that flush toilet paper. When you move to a developing country, we lose a lot of those comforts, so you have to mentally prepare to adapt to that and just get used to it. And know that once you do, it's very easy. If you can't adapt to that, it's going to be very difficult for you to live abroad long term. Pets. Unfortunately, it's difficult to travel with pets. It is possible, but it's a lot more expensive. And when you want to take smaller, shorter trips, it makes it a lot more difficult, for which I've chosen not to have a pet while I'm living abroad, moving from country to country every 6 to 12 months. One of the solutions that I've found that helps me is I have friends with pets, and whenever I see them, I treat those little pets like they're my own. So that's a way to get around not having a pet. Before I bring up the last point, I'd like to know what you think. Have you lived abroad or traveled long term? What were your experiences? If not, what are you most scared of? What do you think would be the most challenging thing for you? Drop me a comment, let me know. I respond to every single comment because my channel's still small, so I can. Let's take advantage of that and start a conversation. Now, the last thing that's really, really difficult is food. Some food you can find, it's gonna be a lot more expensive, but some food is just that comfort food. It's just going to Five Guys Burger and Fries and getting that burger, going to In-N-Out and getting that burger that tastes like no other burger in the world. Food is gonna be one of the things that you miss the most because it's so nostalgic. It brings back so many memories. And as incredible as the food is in all of these other countries, eventually you crave what's back at home. Somehow the giant tropical typhoon, Pabuk, got to the edge of Thailand. It hit the eastern islands pretty hard, and then it held position. It slowly started to dissipate or get smaller and finally just disappeared. It was overcast and very windy here for about 3 days, but the storm never actually hit. Another perfect example of how living abroad can be scary, but it doesn't necessarily mean something bad is actually gonna happen. Now, let's find out if the downsides of living abroad are worth it. Personally, I've had a lot of extremes, ups and downs during the last 2.5 years. During the end of one of my trips, I ran out of money at the airport where I had to pay a fee. I quickly thought outside of the box and sold one of my battery packs. Then I had to hitchhike home. I've had dengue fever. I've ran into a head-on collision with a truck on a motorcycle. The truck won that one. I've lost friends back home and I haven't been able to attend their funerals because I'm stuck here. So it's not always easy, but the great times that I've had far outweigh any of those bad times. I've met amazing people, had great experiences, tried new food, seen beautiful places. I went on a 9-day sailing trip with my friend from Thailand to Malaysia and back. None of those things would happen if I was living back at home working 40 hours a week. Remember to stay tuned until the end because I got those funniest bloopers coming up. And if you're interested in seeing that boat trip and kind of more of my day-to-day life, more of a vlog style, check out my Instagram because I always post stories of what I'm doing at least a couple times a week. I'll link that in the description. I choose to live abroad because of the amazing experiences I get, how much time I save, and how much I can stretch the dollar and really enjoy life more. Now, I understand that living abroad and traveling full-time isn't for everybody, but hopefully through these videos, I'm inspiring you to travel more, work anywhere, and enjoy life. Question of the day. If you could live in any developing country, which one would it be and why? In next week's episode, we talk about goals, how to set them, how to break them down, tips on how to accomplish them, and my strategy on what I'm gonna do this year to accomplish my personal goals. Bonus tip! Did you really think I wasn't gonna give you a bonus tip? Come on now, of course I got bonus tips for you guys. This is 6 to 12. If you think you wanna live abroad or travel long term, sit down and really contemplate why you wanna do that. If you're still a little bit indecisive, instead of committing to traveling forever, try a country for 6 to 12 months first and see how it goes. See if you can adapt and see if you like it. And lastly, now that you are in that new country, a great way to meet new people and even get a private tour of the city is with couchsurfing. Couchsurfing.org is a great website that allows you to stay at people's houses for free. Sometimes it's a couch, a floor, a bed, or even a shared bed. But they also have options for people that just want to meet you and go hang out for a day, show you around, teach you about their culture, and maybe ask you about yours. Thank you so much for staying until the end. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the bloopers. How do I look?
Like Joel.
All right. You're the real troopers. Is that bad? You're the real troopers.
Who's talking in your head?
Going?
Yep.
So somehow